stream in 2022, it's more likely than you think. Hello. Hi. Welcome to a live stream. Forewarning, today's stream is going to be a little bit rough. The main reason being because we're taking apart the computer that I normally would use to stream. Disaster on time. But also because I had everything dialed in perfectly working last night, and suddenly just none of it wants to work today. So, I have a laptop here to control and monitor stream, and we'll try to keep up with both chats. I will say, for the sake of audio seems to be going out. Uh-oh, that's not good. Is it? Are we still test? Testing, testing, testing. Hey, we're back. Ladies and gentlemen. Holy balls. I think we're back. As I was saying, I had everything dialed in perfectly last night, and naturally when I go to flip it on and start streaming, nothing wants to work. Voice seems very mono. Yeah, I fixed it. We should be good. Should have it up off my clothes. Here, we'll do something a little extra awkward like that. Alright. Yeah, we're using the DoD Connect kit. It's what I've been using for a lot of these streams, but for whatever reason, the audio's loud now. Yeah, it's supposed to be loud. That's the point. We did it, chat. We figured out how to live stream. Alright, we'll do... There, I turned it down a little bit. It has a limiter on it, so it shouldn't clip anyway. There we go. Alright. That should be good. Everything goes upside down? What? Nothing should be upside down. Don't give me any more heart attacks. Don't give me any more heart attacks. Alright. Oh, yeah, I can flip that on. We can clean up. We can clean that up. I am a professional live streamer, ladies and gentlemen. I've not streamed in months while I've been redoing the entire setup. But here, I can do this. There. That should be a little bit better. If it wasn't for it was working fine, now it doesn't, I wouldn't have a job. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. All right. Looks like we are still live on the Twitch and the YouTube machine. So that is good to see. Clips a bit before the limiter. It really shouldn't be. I've tested this over and over. I am not clipping. I mean, I can turn it down to -9. That's probably as low as I'm willing to go. Boop boop bip bip boop 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 bip bip boop 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 bip boop bip boop bloop 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 bloop. Max headroom on all the CRTs. Okay, I can change one setting on the camera here. Professional live streamer, by the way. I've only done this a million times in my life. Yeah, it's really quiet going in the camera. Bop 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 bop. Boop 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 boop. Sounds great. Did I just mess it up then? Because chat was delayed? On with the show. Smart move. All right, so today, today we are tearing apart my previous workstation and building a new one. And the new one is going to be insane. But before we can get to the new excitingness, I have to take apart and drain the loop of my original. So apologies in advance. We are going to speed run the disassembly process a bit so we can get to the new stuff, because I kind of need to get all this done in one sitting. This is going to be pretty high stakes. The build is going to be insane. But first, let's take a look at my previous build and how we need to kind of disassemble everything. So we're going to switch on over here to... Where we at? Oh, I have so many cameras now. We can do that one, right? Yeah, good enough. Ugh, this thing weighs like 1,000,000 pounds. It has a custom loop with 2 radiators in it on top of a giant steel case. I did not plan enough room for me to put it on the desk. Chat. F's in chat. Hello, chat. But we can do this. I can persevere. as I trip over my power brick. All right. Rest it on the corner. And desperately hope my reservoir doesn't leak. All right, this thing is a monster. So previously, the build was comprised of, oh my God. There we go. You need some TV trays just for the laptop. Yeah, actually, I have a 3D printer box. I can just sit it on. Good enough for now. All right, let's get to the full scene here. Hopefully you'll be able to see anything. All right, so last you heard from this build, it was comprised of a 3970X Threadripper and a Titan RTX. We have 128 gigs of 3600 DDR4 RAM, 8 terabytes of an NVMe RAID 0, a 2 terabyte RAID 0, and a bunch of capture cards. The problem I have run into is that something is either wrong with, man, I can't. Rip chat. Why rip chat? Oh, rip chair. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Windows wheels, 3D printed wheel mounts for the Fractal Design Define 7 XL. The problem I've run into is the motherboard or the CPU has a problem. I don't know if it's a bent pin in the socket or if the motherboard has some bigger issue because it was a pre-production press launch motherboard unit, whatever. But for almost 2 years now, every time I reboot the computer, I lose like half of my PCIe devices. So we're talking SSDs, PCIe slots, all sorts of stuff. And a couple of the slots don't even work anymore. So for my original build with all the capture cards and stuff, that no longer functions. And currently, as it stands, half the time when I reboot the thing, my boot drive isn't detected. And I have to power cycle it and like drain all the power from it to get it to reinitialize the drive. It's not the drive dying, it's something wrong with the motherboard. So we are, I'm still going to use this CPU and motherboard for something, but we are disassembling it, and this was the perfect opportunity to upgrade to something else. And so it is probably a bent pin on the socket, and we may find out here once we have taken the CPU out, but we need to first get the water out of this bad boy so we can start taking it out. Now this part makes me nervous because the last time we messed around with this, things did not go well. You may see here, I don't know if you can see at all, we will get, how do we want to do this? I can get you in this angle. You might see there's two different colored tubes here. These are new tubes because last time I tried moving things around to try to fix something, I sprung a leak out of my CPU block. And so I had to replace the tubes and fix a couple things. And then these are getting kind of green over time, even though the water that I used did have biocide and stuff in it. It just seems to still have built up something over time. So we've had a big chunky, like double thickness push-pull 360 mil here, and then a 240 mil radiator at the top. And the graphics card stayed completely cool. Even under load, it was running at like 40C or something absurd. The CPU, however, never really stayed all that cool. Like it was fine, but it wasn't as cool as I would have expected. So we're gonna have to just completely gut this thing and hope we get all the water out without damaging anything. This the PC you did single PC streaming on and had stuttering on? Yes, but the stuttering I specifically had was caused by Warzone DirectX 12 capture stuff, and that's mostly been resolved in OBS's updates. So it wasn't a performance issue, it was a like capture hooking issue. So I need to grab a screwdriver real quick, and then we will be good to go. Have so much stuff in the way here to get this setup filmed. It's absolutely overkill. All right, screwdriver. We'll need some thermal paste. Actually, we don't need thermal paste. Well, we will need thermal paste. That'll be for later though, because we have to reassemble my graphics card. All right, like I said, going to be speed running this. I will do my best to keep the AC off as much as possible, but we're just coming out of a heat wave here, so it's pretty toasty, but we need to start pulling out expansion cards. And I liked moving the laptop over here, but then I can't read anything. So, stream started 16 minutes ago. Sum up the specs. Well, we haven't got to the build part yet, so nah, I'm good. All right, let's get back here. You gotta be in it for the long haul for this build, because we're only just now doing the disassembly. You really need water cooling for a workstation build. I mean, it was my first time doing a custom loop. It was a lot of fun, and these are very much heat generating components in terms of overall production with the Titan and the massive Threadripper. You don't need it, and in fact, we'll be switching away from it. That's the whole reason we're draining the loop now, is we're actually moving off of a custom loop, going back to air. By the way, if you are not already a channel member on YouTube or a Twitch sub, joining those things will get you a secret channel in our Discord at discord.gg/evilsfox, where you can get early access to videos, come chat in secret chats, get feedback on your videos and things like that. So feel free to hit those buttons if you're interested, and consider, you know, giving someone else that opportunity with the gifted subs and the new YouTube gifted memberships. Hey! All right. Here's my Intel NVMe U.2 SSD. That one was a cache at one point. At this point, it is mainly like a export drive. I'm gonna get the last PCIe card out of the way here, and then we will start having to drain some water. See, people often say water is usually quieter for very hot parts. Be it an AIO or a custom loop now, I've never once used a water cooling loop that is quiet. Now obviously mine has an insane amount of fans because we're push-pull on all sides, but you would think that would mean that I got to run the fans at a really low RPM or something, because that's what everyone says. And I'm just saying anecdotally, from my singular point of view, from my single point of testing, that has never once been the case for me. Hello. I've never once been able to run any sort of liquid-based loop quieter than my air rigs. Now maybe if you're doing something with air where you have to run like absurdly like loud, then maybe. We got Barbecue with the tier 1 sub over on Twitch. Thank you so much. I have no idea if the alerts popped up. I did not see them. That's going to be unfortunate if they're not working. Oh, there it is. Ah, and we got a super chat. Matty Fresh Gaming, hope you're having fun. Yes, I am. Thank you so much. All right, all right, all right. Yes, we had zip ties in this build. Naturally. Is it a real project if you're not using zip ties? All right, so my plan is we're gonna pull this off and drain it into the bucket. I may need something to like fish it a little bit, but that should be fine, especially if we take the GPU out. So let me grab the bucket. Bad fans, too small radiators will do that. These are not, these are as big as it gets. What? This is as big as it gets for a radiator, pretty much. A double thickness 360. I mean, there are 420, but like, we have plenty of radiator saturation. I know the Alpha Cool fans aren't exactly the best, but like, it's still enough airflow. You don't need the best. All right, let's switch back to this cam here, because we're gonna have to flip this up, and this is gonna be scary. Alternatively, no, I don't see a better, I don't see another plan. Yeah, all right. Trying to figure out the loop direction here. Comes out of here into the CPU block, out of the graphics card here. So this is the one we need to take off. Yeah, I think this is going to be the play. This is the Zenith 2 Extreme TRX 40. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's hope I don't break my wheel feet because I do not have replacements right now. All right. Yep. We're literally just gonna yellow it this way because this is our most reasonable plan of action here. All right. This is what I did last time, and it mostly worked fine after I sprung the link. There we go. Whee! Well, that was very... anticlimactic. All right, if we're going out into here, so I should... All right, don't do this at home, kids. I should have just like pumped it in here, but this is fine. It's going. Just use a CSGO knife to cut the loop. God, no. I feel like I'm streaming myself with drug paraphernalia now. I'm gonna get banned. Almost there. It's really not that much water, honestly. It's just all moving. Whoa. Alright. That should be, well, mostly safe enough here. We'll grab some paper towels. I'm going to actually seal this back up for a sec. And we can start taking the parts out and draining it more directly. That works better than I'd expect for real. I honestly didn't expect it to work at all, so automatically I'm impressed. Alright. I got a little cup, I got some paper towels. You got anything else exciting to help with this ridiculous plan? This is part of the reason that I didn't want to do a custom loop in the first place. Like, eventually I came around on it, obviously, because I did it. But, like, big picture, I've always kind of been, in a way, anti-custom loops, like, unless it's absolutely necessary, because I'm always imagined the, like, disassembly to be hell. And as someone who builds and rebuilds fairly regularly, that's a genuine concern. Like, I mean, it's the same reason that I talk about certain cable management things. Like, how hard is this going to make my life when I have to take it apart? Right, now I can pull out the graphics card. We have both sides of its loop disconnected. And the big problem here is we're going to have to reassemble this back into its original block. Yep. Naturally, we still have some liquid dripping out of the block, but that's fine. All right, we have... Oh, I forgot we had a stupid RGB connector here. Son of a... Ugh. All right, that's fine. That's fine. Set it down. I'm going to show you what this block looks like, too, because it did get kind of funky after a little while. It's one of those pinch connectors that are a pain in the ass. I'm going to get some pliers. That propylene glycol, oh yes. Thought this blowing action was only available on OnlyFans. Ayo! Thank you for the tier 1 sub, Johnny Ozzy. Apologies if I miss any alerts, just call them out or my mod team can ping me and I will let you know. Alright, that's not what I meant to say, but that's fine. What am I looking for? Pliers, pliers, pliers. Thank you, distracted brain. I hate these little locking connectors that AlphaCool uses. I love how they handle the RGB and stuff overall. I was fine with that, But these connectors literally only ever serve to cause me physical pain. There we go. All right. Cool. Why such cheap cooling with a PC like that? What about this is cheap? What? Oh, stepped in wet spot on the carpet. Okay, that's most of the liquid out of there. You can see here, maybe. I don't know how clear it is. We got a lot of green funkiness growing in there. It's really unfortunate. But that's fine. I don't know if I'll reuse this block for anything because this Titan RTX is probably just going to stay in here once I swap the cooler back. All right, we will set this out to just kind of chill and dry for a bit as we will come back to it. But we really got to speed up the disassembly here. I think most of these tubes are mostly empty. I am very satisfied. We got to be careful, but like we're doing all right in that department. How do I want to... Let's start taking the top off. I think is the play and the front. Let's get at these components because I really want to get the build itself done. Alright, shirt's going off. Like I said, we are coming right out of a heat wave here. It's been absolutely ridiculous. I really wanted to do the stream last week, but it was just sweltering. Alright. But I have to do it this week because we have a bunch of stuff coming up at the end of this week and next week. That means that I'm not going to be at the computer. We're still gonna have videos, but it's gonna be rough, guys. So this is kind of my opportunity to get the big stuff out of the way. We have a really cool review of an upscaler device on Thursday, assuming I get everything done. Of course, these use freaking hex heads. All right, let me grab an Allen wrench real quick. Grab me a drink while I'm over here. I don't remember what size it was. So we are just gonna do my usual strategy of blindly grabbing some that look close to the correct size. I love this little set that I have of handled Allen wrenches and stuff. They make my life so much easier. All right. Ooh, smaller than that. Oh, wait, nope, that's the right size. Hey, first try, ladies and gentlemen. First try, all right. I should have planned some buckets. I have little, hold on. I got some. We got this. I knew I set them out. All right, sick. Sometimes I'm prepared. Other times, no. But sometimes I'm prepared. I got little buckets. Little tiny baby buckets. We got Aiden Talon with the Prime sub. Thank you so much. Is there a command or something I can see the specs? Nope, we are in the disassembly process, so we're not there yet. But the current specs are 3970X and Titan RTX, 128 gigs of Crucial Ballistics RAM, and an ASUS Zenith 2 Extreme TRX 40 motherboard. But that is what we are swapping out. We are going balls to the walls with this build, ladies and gentlemen. Not just on the core specs, but on the additional components as well. Why is that screw so There we go. Stuck in there. All right. I remember I had trouble getting these in here for some reason, but that's fine. With the stories I'm seeing of GPU prices coming back down, I'm back to considering building my own PC. Yes! Patrick, yes! Is that a solid front panel to the case? Yes, but it has, like, it's a door. You open it up and then it's got a full filtered mesh front. And so anytime I was doing anything that would generate a lot of heat, I would open it when I didn't need it to be quiet. Okay, radiator's coming down. I know the angles on this are awkward, but we will be able to use the overhead view as soon as I get a couple more of these little water components out of here. So dust in here isn't great, but it's not as bad as I was expecting. I'm pretty stoked. We did the same thing. I have a video coming soon. I have to finish working on it, but about fixing my wife's PC, because my wife's PC started overheat. Well, not overheating. I thought the GPU was overheating. It's having weird random frame drops in Overwatch and stuff. And so I have a video coming soon on, you know, tackling that. And we haven't done anything to that computer in years, even after the move. And I was very surprised at how good condition it was. It was very not dusty at all. All right, we're gonna awkwardly just have to dangle some fans. This is gonna get weird for a second. This is the kind of scenario where you run a risk of getting some water and some components, but given how much we drained already, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, that's a full tube just completely out of there. We can just take that out. Sick! All right, this one, I believe it looks like it has some liquid in it, so we're gonna have to act fast once we get it off here. I love these Alpha Cool fittings. Oh, yep. Oh, shoot, okay. Dropped a little bit in the case, but otherwise I think we're good. I mean, theoretically, a lot of these components, I hate to say it that way because that sounds really like, oh Jesus, I'm loaded or something. But like some of these components, if we get wet, I'm not touching them or putting them in a build for a little while, so they'll be fine. It's just a couple of the pieces we're putting back in that we'll have to be careful with. But everything's powered down, so like nothing's gonna short out in the immediate term. All right. That wasn't too bad. We got, like I said, we got a little splash action down here in the case, but there's nothing in this part of the case. I don't know how much you all can see here. Yeah, you all can't see much. All right, we will turn it to face you here. There we go. I need more paper towels. What's a wife? The GPU in this rig is an RTX Titan, T-Rex. But we're doing something a little nuts with the new build. To where the question, what's the GPU, is not entirely an accurate question to even ask. All right, let's get these fans off of here so we can start actually removing these components. Whee! I wish I had I guess there are drill bits for it. I still want to get one of those smaller electric screwdrivers that people are using for PC builds now for screws like these, where it's like, it's not hard to remove these, but it's very tedious. Just don't get the laptop wet. Yeah, it's fine. It's on the other side. There's no water on that side. That would suck, though. So part of the reason also, I mean, also because this is my only time to do this, so we're doing it, but part of the reason that I am doing the build or the disassembly part on stream is because I want to help kind of show that water cooling isn't all that scary. Like, we've had a little bit of water spillage here, but like, we've had nothing to worry about. I was terrified as someone who's done PC builds since I was like 10, and I've killed so many components because my first PC builds were laying out all the parts on my carpet and, you know, covering them in ESD and ruining things. As someone who's killed many components when I was, you know, young and have done the bajillion PC builds since I was like 10, I am generally never nervous about PC building in general. But water cooling, I was terrified of. Like custom loops, because I was terrified of getting water on it as I was going. I was terrified of springing a leak while it happened and all of that. And as long as you take your time, I have a full stream up when we built this already, so you can go check that out if you're interested in like the process. But as long as you are careful and take your time and aren't reckless, like it is fairly straightforward as long as you have basic computer building logic. And as long as you're responsible, it's really not a concern. And so that's part of why I want to show the disassembly stuff as well, is to help show that it's not as scary as it seems. Like, yeah, there are extra risks involved, but that just means that you take extra considerations and then you go about it and proceed. Here's those stupid RGB connectors. Yeah, for this new build, we are going almost entirely 0 RGB, so that will make some people happy. That's not by design. Like, I'm not one of those people that just needs to have no RGB ever, but inherently, just due to the way things worked out, it's going to be a fairly low RGB producing build. So some of you all will cheer for that, which is fine. Oh, we need wire cutters real quick. I think I saw some people asking what camera we're using. I don't know if you were asking about a different camera, but the video one, it's the HuddleCam HD Pro, but it's the NDI version instead of the USB version. So it's just connected directly to my network. I hate myself for managing to kill a Stream Deck after 3 days of having it. How? How did you do it? What? I honestly just find that impressive. I have, like, all of mine that I've had since I first got them in, when did they release? 2017? Are still operational. Now they have a lot less brightness, as I noted in my follow-up video, but they still work just fine. Are you reading Twitch chat also? I'm trying to keep up with both. I'm just trying to also kind of speed run through the other stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've been checking both. It's not a rerun. Yeah, did you spill a drink on it? Like, I don't know how. But yeah, this is the HuddleCam. It's freaking great. That's not, like, sponsored. I mean, they sent it to me, but, like, they're not paying me to say that. It's just, it's a very easy auto-adjust camera. Now, it does get very quickly overexposed if I have, like, my big lights on me, so I was running into that when I was planning out the lighting for the stream, but all webcams do that, so it's not, like, a big deal, necessarily. All right, I don't remember how we mounted all this in here. How am I supposed to get that out? All right, so first we need to get all this stuff off of the CPU block, and that's going to be the scariest part. I'm going to turn this so you all can see it because it's basically a vertical mount. And honestly, I think it would be more risky to lay it flat. So I'm just going to get some paper towels down here, and we're going to take the tubes off. That way nothing is running to the CPU block to put more water in it and as we shift pressure around. And then from there, we now have this radiator and the pump. Well, that's the reservoir. The pump's underneath, I think. No, the pump's in the bottom of the res. I don't, yeah. Maybe. Yeah. The pump's in the bottom of the res. Anyway, we will have all of that as one self-contained kind of water unit, so it will be easier to remove. So I can, like, run that there now. There's no real water coming out of it, but I just want to be a little careful. And same thing with the water block on the CPU here. Everyone knows RGB makes it faster. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I don't remember how I got those screws all the way. Oh, I don't think I did. I think we only mounted them on this side, so that would explain it. Perfect. Are those small? Did I grab the wrong? I was about to be mad. Are those separate size screws? All right, cool. This is going better than I thought. Probably slower than I expected, however. Yeah, it's already been about half an hour. That's fine. We good. The build process will go quick because I've already done parts of the build and I will show you as we go. I have a little video to show just to make up for it. But the build process will go pretty quick. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Again, reminder, if you if you join the YouTube channel members, you get early access to videos on Discord and behind the scenes awesome content, as well as some cool secret chats, and the same thing if you're a Twitch sub. So feel free to join in on those and or gift some subs to help some people out. And we got a elite tip from Fantasy Productions. Thank you so much. I have alerts going so you all can see it, but obviously I can only keep up with so much when I'm specifically building. We will be a little bit more chat focused as we roll into the normal build. It's just the disassembly we have to be a little more careful with. There we go. Things are a little dusty back here, but overall doing all right. We did spring a little leak down here now, but that's fine. All right, I'm gonna be bold and just completely disconnect it from this rad. That way we can get this out of here and just move very quickly. Okay, cool. I don't really have a way of turning it up, so we'll just leave it. Ah, we still can't pull it out. The pump takes Molex power. Round back. Yeah, I'd say if you killed your Stream Deck within 3 days by just like plugging it in, then you absolutely can just get it returned probably. Thank you for the resub, Big Dario! Much appreciated, much appreciated. Pancakes or waffles? That is really tough. Like, oh, we're spilling water. That is honestly, actually, we have a towel. That's not what this is for, but we can use it for this for right now. That's gonna make my life easier, because we definitely have a bunch of water coming out of this pump. So I'm not gonna give a fun, quick answer, because I think it's really tough, because I think I don't know the answer. I think I prefer waffles in general, especially for like, how the freak did I get this in here? Especially for cheaper. You know, if you got some really nice high-end breakfast, that's a little bit of a different story. I'm just gonna sit this upside down in there. There we go. I think if you have some high-end breakfast, it's a different story, but for cheaper stuff, I think I generally prefer waffles. Because it's easier to just have like a nicer experience with them, whereas cheap, bad pancakes are just a bad time. But you get some really nice, like, S-tier buttered pancakes that are made, or like flavored pancakes that are made really well. It is hard to beat. Waffles are pancakes with syrup traps. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah. They can be made differently in a way that, like, plays to different advantages and strengths. But to me, especially, again, on the cheaper side, waffles, basically like Cujo just said, waffles are just pancakes that hold syrup better. But you get some nice, perfectly fluffy pancakes that are flavored just right, and they're the right amount of, like, moistness. Chef's kiss, literally. The pancake take is accurate. Like if we're talking frozen stuff like Eggo, then waffles all the way. Waffles in the toaster, get the cinnamon ones. Some nice microwave syrup. But we're talking like nice diner pancakes. Ooh. I ate oatmeal with cold milk. That sounds like a sad breakfast. Honestly though, I don't eat most breakfast things. Like I don't eat sugary breakfast stuff for breakfast very much. I do every once in a while just because that's what we're having, but like I'm not a big fan of it. It upsets my stomach and like makes me lethargic because I have a sugar crash as soon as you start the day. It's not good for you. But breakfast for dinner with big fancy waffles or even like a nice lunch at like Waffle House or something. So good. But I'm not big on like that kind of breakfast for breakfast. I do eat cereal and like oatmeal, but once you start adding in a bunch of sugar and a bunch of other stuff, it's just really, I don't know. Should I get a better capture card or just get a portable monitor? If you're just trying to use your tablet as a monitor, a better capture card isn't going to get you that far. I would say to just buy a better monitor. Man, these screws are obnoxious. I really wish these were Phillips head. These are the most obnoxious screws I've installed in the front of a PC case. Thankfully, we're on the last one. And then we're just ripping this rat out, and we can speed run the rest of this. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I know it's been super long since I've streamed. I had scope creep, as you know, from the studio rebuild of all the multicam setup and all the NDI stuff. And this is part of that because it's eliminating part of the workflow issues I've had this entire time that's prevented me from going. And part of the move to NDI was a necessity because of the PCIe issues with this build. So it's kind of redundant, but it was also necessary. But I know it's been a while since I've streamed. I am planning on streaming again as we move into the summer here. You know, considering heat and all of that. We have some good stuff planned. I've got 1,000,001 Pokemon cards to get back to opening. I've got cool stuff to show you. I have a little mini unboxing thing to show you today as well, just to get that festive going. And then, of course, we have the new setup, the Flex, every time we stream. I've got lots of plans. It's just a matter of getting to everything. If I get rid of my dual stream PC and upgrade to the 12900K single PC build for streaming, will that stop the FPS performance loss when I open OBS? I'm confused. How do you have a performance loss on a dual PC setup? Wonder how often EPOS uses both Blu-ray drives. When they work, more than you might think. But part of the issues of devices disconnecting and stuff in this build also means somehow one of the Blu-ray drives was always not working. So currently one of them is disconnected, but when they were fully functional, I was using them quite regularly. All right, we have removed all of the liquid cooling components other than the CPU water block from this build. I feel a sense of accomplishment. We are also swapping power supplies, I believe, in this build. Oh, we got some leakage on the top of the power supply shroud. That's fine. Oh, yep, now our block's leaking. Okay. We also got a different power supply we're probably swapping to because our power requirements for this new build are going to be absolutely mind-boggling. So I'm going to get some of this water stuff put down here, and then we're going to switch to the normal layout so you all can finally see the build process. I assumed you already blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, I've already been doing stuff on the motherboard. EmiCat and Ahmeds with the tier 1 resubs. Thank you so much. You guys rock. I mean, I have already done testing on the board that I'm upgrading to, if that's what you're asking. Will I lose FPS performance on a single PC using 12900K? Well, every PC will lose some amount of performance when streaming, so technically yes. In a way that matters, not really, but that depends more on your graphics card than your CPU, so it's kind of some awkward lines of questioning, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. The case feels so empty without the water cooling stuff now. Right, we can set that under the table. Such an empty case now. All right, now we got to start pulling out the power supply, the motherboard, CPU. Probably even just pulling out the back fan for good measure at the moment. All right, let me grab a drink real quick, actually. We will keep this train rolling. The hype train is close. Thank you. Appreciate y'all watching, whether you're watching on Twitch or YouTube. Also, the plan moving forward with the live streams, talking about live streams, will be multi-streamed on Twitch and YouTube moving forward. Ow! I hate Molex connectors. Get out of there! Hello? I have seen the light. All right, this angle, can I make it any lower for you? No, I cannot. Okay. Oh, my phone's ringing. Go away. I have seen the light. Streams will be on YouTube as well as Twitch. I will probably balance it around, so like, there we go, Jesus Christ. If I'm game streaming, then it's gonna be, you know, on the Lost Saves channel probably. I haven't actually enabled streaming on that channel, but I believe it qualifies now. So we just hit 1K subs not too long ago. We have a custom URL now. So game streams, you know, will be on there. And just kind of random and just chatting streams will be here. I will unlist ones that are just kind of casual streams or ones not super relevant to this channel, and then just put them in a playlist on the channel page so you can easily find them. If they are, you know, if it's like streamer news or a PC build like this or whatever, then I'll leave it live. Like this one will be stay live so you can find it super easily. Honestly, screw the Twitch contract. Like, that's fine. It's become very clear that they do not enforce anything, and they have even encouraged partners now to multi-stream if they make it less obvious that it's like just a direct, blatant multi-stream, as long as they're doing so in the name of promoting their Twitch channel. So, lol. Your studio is making me realize how much open wall space I have. Yeah, dude, so I know it's an ADHD thing and I need stimulation. We got 5 bits from Theo Zoo. We just got we got so many bits. We got 100 from an anonymous. Nice, thank you all so much. Hi, I found you're building a stream show video on YouTube and learned so much. Just wanted to say hi and thank you. Well, thank you for stopping by. It is much appreciated. I'm gonna retweet the stream in just a moment so everyone knows it's happening. But yeah, like, I know it's an ADHD thing, like I need the stimulation and blah, 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 but I can't stand seeing empty, just kind of blank walls. It just feels like no one lives there. It drives me nuts. I don't know why. Late to the stream, but is that a Threadripper? Yes, it's a Threadripper, and we're taking it out to upgrade away from it. We'll let that sit in. I think that's all the screws. I apologize, this isn't like significantly more lit. I do have a bunch of lights on, but if I get it too bright over here, then like all the extra cams are way overexposed, so it gets kind of awkward. What I can do on my Ursa is I can crank up the ISO some more. There we go. That might be a little better. It'll get a little grainy, but that's fine for this. YouTube is better than Twitch because you can rewind and set 1.25x speed to catch up. Dude, I don't watch anything on YouTube that isn't at 1.5 or higher anymore. I don't know how people do it, especially some creators, and I'm not going to name names like Bully or whatever, because at this point I feel like it's all of them, but some creators, like, I am amazed when I watch things at 1x speed, how slow some people talk. And I know people learn at different speeds and blah, 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 blah. But then at the same time, I watched some Binging with Babish recently, and I was just blown away at how quickly he talked. Like, I felt like I had whiplash from how quickly he was just running through everything, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Which is a good thing. Like, it's probably good for retention, because you don't have a moment to, like, sit down and get bored. Like, if you want to hear what he's saying, like, you gotta pay attention. It was just amusing to me. All right. We are getting there. We're doing a little dusting as we go. It doesn't have to be spotless, and it wasn't filthy in the first place, but, you know, do what we can while we have access to various bits and pieces. Good enough. Throw those over there. All right, I think we have everything unplugged. I think the motherboard is free. It does not feel very free. Oh, I knew there was a screw hiding out up there. I just couldn't see it. Sneaky boy. I enjoy Gamers Nexus's one-time speed. How? Is that a joke? Like, I love Steve, but I have to watch him at, like, high speed. Huh. All right. We're free on the board. Now, before we end the stream, if I remember and we have time, God, it's so heavy. It has, like, a whole backplate and everything. I don't want to tilt and leak out the thing. We're going to take the CPU out and see if there's a bent pin, see if that explains our issues, because otherwise I really don't know what's happening. All right, we don't need the 1 terabyte drive that's in there, so this entire, the RAM, the CPU, and the drive is now free. This is going to become an experimental test bench for AI. I'm going to be working on some AI projects, and you need a lot of processing power. So this is going to be the base for my new AI projects. That's going to be nuts. We're going to set this over here. Ugh. Okay, we are doing great. All right, I'm feeling great about this. I need more paper towels though. We will grab one from my Titan here. This is, okay. With the stream starting out the way it did, I just assumed something disastrous would happen during the disassembly and we'd be delayed more, but no, I think we're doing pretty solid at the moment. Hope you all are having a wonderful Tuesday. I specifically wanted to stream today since Tuesdays are usually my video day, and this was absolutely going to eat up a video slot. It's going to be tough for me to get Thursday's video done, but I 100% needed this computer to do the captures for Thursday's video. So we kind of had to choose our correct order of operations. Thank you for the level 1 hype train. I love minimalism and love your non-minimalism, and I hate everything in between. That's fascinating. I don't think I've seen that perspective. Usually people are just fully in one camp or the other. And I obviously very much am not in the minimalism camp. All right, this is 1600 watts. Do we have more than 1600 on my other power supply? What is this one? Because I was going to switch to my Dark Power Pro because I need a lot of plugs here. My Dark Power Pro is 1200 watts. Oh! We don't need 1600, I just need more PCIe power. Does this have the hookups for it? It does, so I just have to find the correct power supply package in my box. Okay, well that's good, because we don't have to swap PSUs. That's gonna save us some hassle. All right, but I will need a lot more power connectors. So I have to go dig through my power supply box real quick here. And then I can start telling you about the new build. So we will do, what other camera angle we got? We'll just do one of the PTZs again. Everything's kind of funky at the moment. Oh, wait, we got that one. We got that one. Where's this at? Hold on. There it is. Yeah, we're using the 1600 watt. That one's the better one. All right, I'm gonna go grab my power supply tote and see if I can find the right cables for this power supply. Because obviously if I don't, that will be quite the problem. For obvious reasons, I hope. All right, that is power cords, but not power supply. Where are my power supplies? Those are controllers. Zippity-doo-dah. I think it's over here behind the audio, naturally. Things are very much in disarray from the rebuild, and then I haven't had time to, I have a whole bunch of stuff I'm getting rid of that I have not had time to move out of the studio, and so working around that has been quite the headache. All right, power supply. I don't know why that's in my head. All right, power supply. Don't follow my iPad, please. Looking for EVGA. This is Be Quiet Dark Power. Damn it. Let's see. Sonic. EVGA. That has a 24 pin in it, so probably not that one. EVGA. This is probably it. Cool. Most EVGA plugs are the same anyway, so no major concern there. Yes, 1600 watt is our current power supply. And that is not overkill for it, just to be clear. Oh yeah, I still need to retweet my stream. Twitter. Retweet. Okay. All right, so we have these. Do I have any more PCI connected? We've got 2 CPU and 1 VGA to the motherboard. So we'll need a few more VGA. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is gonna be so dumb. 5, here we go. All right, we may need all of these. So I'm just gonna pull them out now. We're gonna get kind of loosey-goosey with how the power supply is for a minute. I need to pull out this U.2 setup I'm not using anymore. I promise all will be revealed in just a moment. All right, so for my new build, it's breaking. For my new build, let's run over the parts. My new build will be featuring the Threadripper Pro 3975WX. I got a deal on this that I absolutely could not pass up right when I needed to upgrade this system. So we are basically making a lateral move from the 3970 to the 3975WX. We are gaining 0 performance directly, but we are gaining 8-channel memory with a lot more capacity supported, as well as ECC, as well as 128 PCIe lanes, which is absolutely necessary for the work that I do. For that, ASUS sent out the Sage WRX80 motherboard, which has 7 full-size PCIe X16 slots, with just one of them running at 3.0 speeds. The rest are at 4.0 speeds. We've got 3 NVMe connections. We got all that glorious horizontal RAM and lots of power required for this, for the crazy stuff we're going to be doing. So went ahead and installed the CPU ahead of time so that I could test it, and I was doing some other benchmarking, trying to get Thunderbolt working. Unfortunately, I have been unsuccessful. Technically, I have Thunderbolt working, but it is not working with my audio interface that I need to use. So kind of a problem there. But we are using the Noctua U14S, I believe. And in my testing so far, it is staying fairly cool and super quiet. We will add a second fan if I need to. And then Sabrent sent out a 4 terabyte Rocket 4 Plus for us to use as our boot drive. We already had 2 4 terabytes in the build before, one of them also from Sabrent. This is our new one. But huge shout outs to Sabrent, ASUS, Kingston, who sent out the memory we're gonna talk about, and SK Hynix, who sent out some SSDs as well. And of course, NVIDIA provided my original Titan RTX. But those are not all of these specs. We will, of course, be getting to some more of the specs as the PC build goes on. But those are the main things that we're working with here. This is an absurd build. Along with what you already heard, we also have my existing 8 terabyte 4 M.2 NVMe drive RAID array that I use for my exports and my high bandwidth captures and all of that. So we're gonna have over 20 terabytes of NVMe storage in this build. Because we got the Sabrent stuff you already saw. We have the 2 terabyte Platinum P41s. These are new drives from SK Hynix. These are absolutely insane, capable of, I believe, 7 gigabytes per second reads and writes. So we have that going for us. Awkwardly bend down to pick up more parts. We have 256 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 megahertz RAM ECC provided by Kingston. Kingston has been a company that has worked with me since I first started doing PC building related videos. They were the first company to ever sample memory and SSDs to me way back 10 years ago in 2012. So huge shout out to Kingston for supporting me for an entire decade and providing an insane amount of RAM. Graphics wise, we're still using the Titan RTX, but we're dual GPUing it with the RTX 3090 as well. This is the 3090 I picked up a couple years ago for gaming. We are actually throwing it in here as the main GPU. There are some encoder advantages, not in terms of raw quality, but just in terms of general capability that we will get out of this, that I will talk more about in future content and things like that, as well as the extra horsepower, because I'm doing stuff in Unreal Engine and crazy stuff in Resolve and things like that now, and I kind of need some extra horsepower. So we're actually going to try to dual GPU this here. So an insane amount of power there. And then for capture, we have the Blackmagic Decklink 8K, which can do multiple inputs over SDI. I'm not doing 8K to it, but you know, multiple 4K 60 inputs, all of that. And then we have the absurdly expensive, I had to take on some extra contracting gigs part, the Magewell dual 4K 60 input PCIe capture card, because gaming capture cards do not have drivers that are stable enough for professional work, and I keep running into constant headaches with them. So my main rig will no longer rely on such plebeian hardware. Beefy heatsink, 2 little baby fans, 4 HDMI inputs or out ports, 2 inputs, 2 outputs, HDMI 2.0, 4K 60, 444 chroma subsampling supported. That bad boy is rocking in here as well. This thing is gonna be nuts. So, gonna set some of these parts aside while we get to the main part of the build, because obviously we have some work to be done here. But I am over the moon. We are not only eliminating the problems that I had with my last build that we addressed at the start of the stream, which was I think there's a bent pin or something causing some major PCIe dropouts, but we're also just generally tackling a lot of the overall bottlenecks and things like that that my build had before. Now, I was previously, as I mentioned, trying to get Thunderbolt working. I technically had it working. I did have Thunderbolt, you know, usable, but not for my audio interface, so we are going to pull that out and not use that this time. As mentioned, this is the ASUS Sage WRX80E. This is a workstation motherboard. You may remember that I previously used a Sage motherboard from ASUS for my 7980XE. That motherboard was absolutely incredible. It was my favorite motherboard that I've used to date, and I absolutely wanted it when they announced that they were doing a WRX80 setup. I absolutely wanted it for my builds because it was such a good motherboard and gives you so much connectivity and expansion. And here we have it for this as well. These are absolutely bonkers boards. Now, I will say, obviously they sent it out, so thanks to them, but like, as a small point of contention, had I gone with the Gigabyte board instead, the Gigabyte board actually supports Thunderbolt on board, like officially, so that part would have been a little easier, but overall, it's whatever. Thunderbolt was a lower priority, and I wanted some more of the I/O options that the ASUS board provided. What CPU cooler are you using? It is the Noctua NHU14S, the WRX80 specific one. Wide cam is out of focus. Yeah, that's just because I'm bringing stuff up close to it. It doesn't have autofocus, it's my Ursa, so I'm just kind of... I'm gonna lower the table a little bit. And then I can get this angle better. Kind of. Like, the priority was getting it in focus down here, and I couldn't lower the aperture anymore because I can't really get any additional light to it. Okay, the table's too low for my legs now, but that's fine. All right, we're taking out, we had some generic RAM in here when I was testing because I didn't have the ECC yet. So by the way, this board does work with consumer RAM. This is just Kingston Fury Renegade RAM, and it worked fine, but... All right, so we have to fit this motherboard around all of these cables because it is wider than my previous motherboard. So we're gonna have to be very careful. Actually, it's just not gonna fit around the cables at all. So we are gonna have to reroute a fair bit of these cables. I'm gonna pull out this PCIe riser for now that I was experimenting with. Hey, Gruel Twitch, thank you for the lovely comment. Hello to Germany. This build is insane. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, before we go any further, I also have a stack of Noctua Chromax fans that we're throwing in here, the NFA14s. Like I said, basically no RGB. Technically, my 3090 has RGB on it. But that will be the only RGB producing component, and I will probably turn it off and just all minimal quiet for this build, I guess. All right, so we need to reroute all of the cables, because these side grommets will no longer work. Yikes. This is an absolutely massive board. But that's why we needed all the PCIe power connectors, because the dual GPU plus adding that extra power to the board. All right. How are we gonna do this? All right, we're gonna reroute some cables. There you go, Cujo. Thank you so much. This is why I have awesome mods, because they handle the stuff that I never get right. All right, so we're pulling all this out of here. So for this board, we need the 25 pin, the dual CPU power, 8-pin, and then a VGA power. So yeah, the same as the first board, but then there's also a PCIe power port at the bottom of the board instead of Molex that we will need to use as well. We'll pull this SATA out for now. Yeah, this USB and stuff can't go in the side either. We may have to knock this. We're probably gonna have to do that. We probably have to take out this little side blocker panel. Since we're not mounting like drives to it, that should be fine. I don't see any reason that should be a problem. Here. There we go. We're gonna take out this little HDD mounting. Why did I say that in letters? This is what happens when you read more than you talk sometimes. Hard drive mounting panel. We're gonna take this out, get us some better cable management. It won't be as obvious, or like it won't block the cable view as much for those who like the cleaned up look, but this is a functional workstation, not a pretty one. What's the purpose of this workstation? This is editing and rendering my 4K, 4K60, and soon to be 8K videos. This is doing crazy projects in Unreal, streaming to Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, etc. all at the same time. It's a little bit of everything. I'm not gonna be able to get that out of there without taking the Blu-ray drives out. That sucks. All right, Blu-ray drives. You are temporarily being evicted. Blu-ray drives are going back in though. You can pry my optical drives from my cold, dead hands. Move it to the front for stability. Oh yeah, I could do that. It's gonna look awkward because it doesn't have anything to mount onto. But there are the holes for it. Did I really put a screw on this side? I never do that. I don't see a screw on this side. Why are these stuck? Hello? That's weird. How many screws do you have to unscrew to remove just one little thing? I do love, like I'm complaining, but I do love how modular the Fractal cases are now these days. My favorite case I have ever used was the Fractal Define R4. The 5 was better for those of you who water cool. Like I won't ignore that possibility. But for just general building, for quietness and just general use, the R4 is my favorite case, and I've kept my original because I will just keep reusing it in future builds because I loved it that much. The 7 is really solid. Like they're doing a lot of cool stuff now. I was just saying the 4 is my favorite, and these days they're doing a lot more modularity with them, which is pretty cool as well. Yeah, there's a screw in there. I don't know how or where because I literally can't see it. I don't know how I would have done that. That doesn't make any sense to me. How would I have gotten that in or out if I can't? Oh, there's a single, god damn it, I didn't need to do any of this. There's a single tiny little tab screw down here. This is what happens when you don't pay attention. There we go. Is there one at the top? I don't think so. Maybe there is. Oh, it's literally screwed in at the top. Okay. Yeah, I didn't need to take the optical drives out at all. Whee! There we go. Yeah, so like I could put this in the front of the case over here, but it has nothing to hook onto, so it would just kind of sit awkwardly, but I could do that. We'll do that in a minute. I want to re-secure my damn optical drives now. Yeah, I definitely did put screws in both sides. That's wild. I never usually do that. But the 7XL has been amazing for me, especially for being so flexible to house. Like, this is my 3rd config I've put in it, and I've just like, I've had no major issues with it. Yes, I'm also live on YouTube as well, to those of you asking in the Twitch chat. I'm a multi-streamer now. I know I haven't been doing streamer news for months. I miss it. I miss streaming and chatting with you all. I'm so stoked to get back to it. I'm gonna turn my fan up real quick. It is getting toasty now, as we're like an hour in. There we go. At least I think it's an hour. I don't know how long we've been going. An hour 20. All right. Not too shabby, because like I said, this part will go quick, but this build is going to be bonkers. All right, get some of that dust off the front. Not that it matters. All right, I guess we can put that front. We will put the front on last, because I don't think anything will be in the way of us doing that, and that will keep it out of the way in the meantime for us running cables, because we have to route all of this through here. Oh yeah, I guess the... What is this? Is that just PWM for the fan splitter? I guess so. Okay. That can stay on. I don't know why I unplugged it. Okay. Now we can freely route cables where we need to for this redonkulous board. Please don't tell me it's Define 8. Oh, don't announce one. All right, now we have free reign with the cables. It won't be a beautiful build, but it'll be a powerful one. All right, it should be everything cleared out here. I will switch to the overhead cam in a minute. There aren't standoffs in the case for this extra tier of screws, but I'm not worried about it. It's gonna have so many other screw points that I don't think it's gonna matter. I feel like there's one that's hitting the backplate though that I'm gonna have to remove. I think I knew that. Yep, this one right here has to come out. Oh, AC's coming on. Sorry, guys. AC said it's officially too hot in here. All right, I will switch. Wow, that does not want to loosen. Hold on, let me grab something else. New Fractal announcements next. That's fine. 5 cents as a Hello? Hello? Are we live? Am I dead? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide. Okay. The camera that it was plugged into turned off, so I don't have a way to monitor that. Okay, as I was saying, what I really love about this case is that it has the extra slots beyond the motherboard, because this motherboard has right angle connectors. It has 2 VGA power, so that's going to be a problem. But it has right angle connectors, so you can put the GPU in the bottom slot, because they're all X16. So you're not going to lose any performance putting the GPU in the bottom slot, and then the power connectors are bent out of the way. So, no image. That's not true. So I can put a GPU here and then a GPU here, and hopefully be fine. But yeah, for whatever reason, the backplate is making it so a lot of my standoff screws don't reach. That's really annoying. It's kind of a big problem. Like, they just aren't screwing into it at all. I don't know. I don't think the motherboard came with any. Maybe it did. Hang on. We got a bunch of M.2 accessories. We got another RAID card. I'm gonna have to go check my screw cup real quick. Parts from recent PC builds. Hopefully something reaches. Ugh. Who knew the hardest part would be just screwing the motherboard right back in where I just unscrewed it from. Completely mismatched screws, but it'll work. I'll take it. I don't want it falling out on me. That would be no good. Yeah. As a PC builder, you see, of all things that are required, you always got to make sure that you have... Oh, I never turned this back up for my face. I'm sorry. You always got to make sure that you have a cup of screws lying around. A cup of screws a day keeps the Amazon away, or something. All right. Cool. Now we get to start assembling where everything goes. And I am so excited. Isn't the backplane hitting something a standoff then? No, I already removed the one that it was hitting. All right, so now we got to start picking where everything goes, and that part is very exciting. So our fan splitter will run into CPU opt. Actually, before we do that, we should put the RAM in, and then we can start doing the power. So let's crack into this RAM. I am so excited for this. Like I said, we have 256 gigs of ECC RAM from Kingston. This was the biggest clutch for this build. So I had 128 gigs before. It was from Crucial. I've worked with Crucial a bunch on the channel. Issues contributing to some of my weird problems I was having in the build though. But I was genuinely like running out of RAM with 128 gigs. Now 512 might have been more ideal, but 256 is more reasonable. This is still 3200 megahertz, which is just fine for this. It's green, but you're not really gonna see it. I am super stoked. Like, it may seem unrealistic, but I was genuinely bottlenecking at 200 or at 128 gigs of RAM. So 256 should be enough to get me by. This is with DaVinci Resolve, lots of plugins and effects uses a bunch, After Effects uses a bunch, and then doing some of the like shader compiling and stuff in Unreal Engine chews through my resources. So I am so stoked to finally have 256 gigs of RAM. I've kind of been wanting it for a couple years. It's just been super unattainable because when I got the 128 gig kit for this PC last time, RAM prices were insane. So they're back down to more reasonable levels now, which I am super grateful for. We seem to bounce back and forth. It seemed like, 2011 to 2013 or so, hard drives, because of the flooding in Taiwan or whatever, hard drives were super expensive. And then something else got really expensive for a while. And then RAM was super expensive due to all the weird price gouging with RAM. And now GPUs have been expensive. We just kind of cycle through which parts are, I guess, raking in the most money from everybody, is the way to put that. If you ever switch over to Intel Xeon, would you make use of Optane? So I don't think you need to be on Xeon to use Optane. But sure. What motherboard is that? This is the ASUS Sage WRX80. I believe Cujo has a command set up with the specs, or either he's just copy-pasting it. Absolutely glorious motherboard. Haven't checked on Twitch in a minute. Apologies. How y'all doing over there? Try removing the rubber grommets at the top. Had the same issue. Oh. Own the jank, put a bunch of Noctua fans in it. I am. That's literally... I have a stack of them I showed earlier. Stack of Chromax. How the hell did you get bottlenecking with 128 gigs of RAM? I just explained it. I do a lot of stuff. What do you think of Linux rendering servers? That's a very vague question. I'm not sure what specifically you're wanting me to respond about of them. There's Cujo. MVP. Just a reminder, if you join our channel members on YouTube or sub on Twitch, you get early access to videos, behind the scenes content, exclusive chats in our fancy Discord server, where you get to chat with me and a bunch of other like-minded creators, get feedback on your videos or streams, etc. Same thing on Twitch with your Twitch sub. All right, so we're gonna put one fan pushing through the cooler here, and then there will be exhaust fans at the top. We can do dual fan if we need to at some point. I don't know that it's honestly gonna be necessary though. All right, that is looking rock solid. We got our I/O out the back, feeling solidly mounted in there. I've already disabled the onboard GPU for the VGA for the IPMI because that causes some issues with what I'm trying to do. We need to mount our boot SSD. Now for that, I have placed it on my desk. I will go grab. Oh, he said Linus. My bad. Sorry, my chat is really small in order to see everything at once. Let me pull it back up. Where did it go? What do you think of Linus rendering servers? You mean they're just general, like they're Epic systems and stuff? Like they're pretty cool. So I've made videos on setting up DaVinci Resolve render servers and things like that. And it's a cool idea, but the cost scales kind of stupidly because you have to have everything synced over and you have to have footage mounted perfectly you have to have your storage locations mounted perfectly in the exact same place, mapped correctly on both systems. You have to have your fonts synced. You have to have all of your effects and filters synced. And plugins are where it gets problematic because I was looking into it for I have a assistant editor, Wyatt, who edits our tutorials and stuff. And I was looking into scaling my Red Giant license for him to use as well. And it gets significantly more expensive, even more so than just paying for him to have his own individual license, which is stupid. And it's just not affordable. And so to have that kind of stuff synced across gets expensive on top of complicated. All right, we need one of these for the SSD, except Sabrent included their own screw. I just need the standoff. So for my boot SSD, we're using the Sabrent Rocket 4 Plus. This is a 4 terabyte drive. So I already had 2 4 terabyte drives in my system. I don't think we pulled one of them out. We're going to have to go get it. But my boot drive was 1 terabyte. And with all the download caches for different things, even though I have a separate cache drive, you know, a lot still ends up on your C drive. I was quickly running out of space. And so we are rocking 4 terabytes of boot space. And this is not going to be used for anything extra beyond that. Like, it's purely operating system and stuff that stays in my user folder. But it got to the extent that it was kind of warranted to have this in here. All right. So slot that bad boy right in there. And then we will need a big screw from the Sabrent packaging. So they also included a big PS5 heatsink with this SSD, and I would love to have a 4 terabyte in my PS5, but I specifically requested this for my PC. So I'm actually going to use their PS5 heatsink probably on one of the SK Hynix 2 terabytes that I put in my PS5. Sorry for the headshot. No! All right, hold on. Get in there. There we go. All right. 4 terabyte, beefy, like vapor chamber style cooler. All right. That's enough of that for now. I guess now we start doing power and this rear fan. So we're gonna open up one of our Chromax. Every few years when I start doing more builds, because I only do builds every so often, I end up having to just spend a stupid amount of money with Noctua. Buying up a bunch of fans. It's ridiculous. Why did they put the cable through? What in the world? Why? Why would you make it that obnoxious to get out of your packaging, Noctua? Oh my god. Okay, that was stupid. Wait, do they only include one of each color for these corner pieces? Oh, I think there's a box. Okay, never mind. I was like, that's gonna be ridiculous. We're gonna go blue. Thanks for the kind words, Addie Field. There we go. Just feed that right out the back there. We already had the screws pulled out for it. And then after this, I'm gonna get a drink super quick, and we got some more cool stuff to show off. Appreciate everybody hanging out in today's stream. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday so far. And this blistering hot first day of summer. fan one in. Give me just a sec here. I got so many cameras we can show anything in the studio, even though it's a disaster from a couple of things, but that's fine. All right. Give me just a sec. Sorry. Hope you all are having a wonderful Tuesday. I already said that. That's fine. I repeat myself a lot. We're a live stream, because every time I don't repeat myself, someone chimes in. It's like, hey, I don't remember the, or, you know, I don't know. What are you saying? So, it's fine. It's fine. Hope you're enjoying today's stream. Today's stream is brought to you by Hover. If you're watching this and like to build your own streaming or content creation career to do what I do and that kind of thing, you should strongly consider building a website or at least using their email services so that you can, you know, have a platform independent place to host your work, things like that, as well as to have a nice email to reach out to sponsors or potential collab clients or what have you. Getting a custom domain name is, words are hard. I've already been going for 2 hours. Getting a custom domain name to use for brand deals or things like that and getting review requests, it was super crucial to the start of my career. And I was talking about how Kingston was one of the first companies that reached out for samples with my channel and gave me stuff to work with. That was because I had a professional email ready to go and I had some writing skills behind it as well. But I did have a nice domain to go with it, and it was how I was able to push my channel as a legitimate business pretty early on. For a blazing fast domain buying experience with over 400 domain extensions, including awesome ones relevant to streamers like .live and .stream, as well as award-winning customer support, head on over to hover.com/eposvox and save 10% on your new online home. All right, we're gonna unbox a quick thing and then we shall continue the build. Yeah! I have too many cameras to choose from, Jesus. All right. I am definitely not from the UK, just to be clear. Oh, that scene's not set up at all. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Well, then we're going to do... Rip. We're going to do this. All right. So, real quick, I just wanted to show this off. I was supposed to show this on stream before now. No, the build isn't in England. I'm not in... No. I got sent this from an indie game called Space Lines from the Far Out. It is a really cool looking game, and they sent me a little press kit to open up. I was supposed to do this a few weeks ago, but I have not been streaming. You have been especially selected to embark in the glamorous world of Space Lines. It is a co-op roguelike game about alien airlines inspired by the 60s space age. Really freaking cool. go check it out if you haven't heard of it. I've actually been playing a little bit of it. Wow, you get a nice little airline pilot hat. I'm gonna put that on. A postcard from the terminal. Okay. Well, some of you may have just claimed a key. That's fine. No key for me. And a lovely t-shirt. I love this color. It's like a mint. I don't think I have any shirts like this. Pretty sick. Ooh, and we got a sticker. Nice. Cool. All right. So go check out Space Lines from the Far Out if you're interested. Pretty cool little game. We might even be streaming it at some point if I have the right co-op partner or play it with my wife or something. All right, moving on. Back to the PC build. Are you ready to embark on an alien flight? All right. So we need to do power next, and then USB headers. Those are going to be a little awkward, but it should be fine. I have a lot more SATA cables than I have SATA drives in this for some reason. Oh, and we still need to retrieve a 4 terabyte SSD out of the old build that I don't know where exactly it was plugged in. There we go, that's in there. All right, those are VGAs. These are VGA. Whoa, close. These are CPU. Definitely not British. Don't know why you would think that. Not that there's anything wrong with British people, I'm just not one of them. All right, 24 pin, dual 8-pin CPU. They will go in. There we go. And we need a VGA up here as well, which I believe is this one. Yep. And then we'll need dual VGA at the bottom. It's gonna be weird, but we can do it. Or we just can fail to plug in a single power connector. Oh, because I have it upside down. 200 IQ. There we go. USB is barely going to reach here. Do we have a USB 3 on the bottom? I don't know that. I don't. We do all the way over here. Nah, it'll be fine. They had a USB-C header over here somewhere. I don't know where it's gone at the moment, but that's fine. All right, what else we got? We got front panel audio, which is this little right angle guy. We got front panel USB, which is all the way over here, I think. Yeah, all right, we're gonna have to reroute some stuff. And we have power. I grabbed the power breakout plug. Apparently this board has 2 separate sets of... Oh no, it has a PC speaker hookup. LOL! Haven't seen one of those in forever. I'm so glad Motherboard manufacturers started including these little breakout boxes for their front panel pins, because connecting these before was always so bad. It's still super annoying and feels outdated, but it's so much better just having this one little block to put on and slot into place. All right, we are looking good so far. All right, let me grab the previous motherboard real quick. We are rapidly approaching the end of this. I am super stoked. So somewhere on this board, there is a 4 terabyte NVMe SSD hiding. Damn these wheel things. I think it's under here. You can't even really see that. We can fit it over here. I think it's under the chipset block. I am not certain though. That's too big. Unless I put it in the dim.2. I didn't think I did. I think the dim.2 was just for the U.2 drive. Yeah, no, I think this is just chipset. Okay. Because it had this drive, and one on the back. Yeah, so it must be in the dim.2. Dim.2. Crapola. I took off this shield for nothing. No, I already know the board posts. So other than, you know, training the RAM real quick and the considerations for dual GPU, the board itself is not going to be a concern. All right, where did I put the dim.2 that we ripped out of here? I don't even begin to remember, honestly. Oh, it's right here. I began to remember. We have another Sabrent 4 terabyte rocket. This one I don't have a heatsink for, though, so we will put under the motherboard heatsink. And I'm hoping this motherboard box has the U.2 native cables in it, so I don't have to go digging for them, because I know I have some, but finding them will be ridiculous. There's our 4 terabyte rocket queue. Jesus, it's really stuck to those thermal pads. Okay. Jesus. All right. We'll set all this over here for another day. This is how I lose everything. A little water never hurt anyone. Wow, I've had tips, and my tip thing clearly is not updated. I'm just going to turn that off. I'm sorry. Have none of these updated this whole time? Do I need to refresh them? Yeah. We'll just leave it off. Alright, that's cheap. I'm sorry. Alright. We'll put the 4 terabyte under one of these heat spreaders on the board. Those Blu-ray drives, hell yes they are. Ooh, and we will put one of the SK Hynix 2 terabytes in here as well. So with the Sabrent 4 terabyte rocket that they sent out, they also just released a 8 terabyte model, which is the one that I had originally wanted, but obviously they are in very high demand at the moment. So we did not end up with that, but they do have 8 terabyte models available at the moment, which is bonkers. Cigarette drives? What? What are you smoking over there? Alright, 4 terabyte Rocket Q. So one of these gets used as my cache drive, and you would think that that would be brutal on an SSD, and it kind of is, but it has performed like a champ and is super reliable. Like, one of my biggest tips for speeding up video editing on a computer and things like that has always been to get you a nice SSD for your cache and your scratch drives. Because even though it seems counterintuitive, it makes a massive difference. And just random, you know, random I/O for your builds, or for your reads and writes. We need one of those P41s. So this is the SK Hynix P41 SSD, the Platinum. So I've used a couple other gold drives before. This is my first time. This is the new Platinum. This just came out recently. Like I said, it's supposed to sustain, I believe, 7 gigabytes per second, which is bonkers. I don't know. I don't have a knife on me to get the box up. There we go. Jesus. What? Oh, it's dual layered. I was like, holy crap, I got sent a sample from a company where the drive was missing. That's new. Okay, it's in here. I had to return a drive to Amazon. I bought a 4 terabyte drive for this build from Amazon. And when I went to like clone my drive to it, it would not format, it would not recognize, none of it. And from what I can tell, I'm pretty sure it had already been swapped out with a fake, or either was just dead on arrival. And that was kind of scary. What you throwing in this monster? We got the Threadripper Pro 3975WX. We have 256 gigs of Kingston ECC memory at 3200 megahertz. We have, oh Jesus Christ, over 20 terabytes of NVMe storage. And we've got both the Titan RTX and the RTX 3090 going in this thing. Hope you're doing well, Shank, brother. Appreciate you stopping by the stream. Good heckin' lord. You're telling me. My everything hurts with this build. The good news is assuming we don't have any more weird freakouts like the PCIe dropouts I was having on the previous build, this will be my last like workstation I have to build for a ridiculously long time. So 128 PCIe lanes goes a long way. I'm gonna throw this system in a Hot Wheels PC case. Bro, I would. Pretty sure my motherboard's like 1.5 times the size of that whole case. Kind of break into your house and steal it. Damn it, Shank. Just sell a few Hot Wheels PC. Oh, the camera died again. Bop, bop. Beep, beep, beep. No, audio is not dead. Don't freaking troll me, bro. Just sell a few Hot Wheels PCs and you got more than enough money to cover this. Y'all trying to troll me over here. All right. We got power. We got it's about power. It's about speed. All right. Why do we have 4? Oh, because we have the SSDs in the back. Yeah. Okay. So, plug in our SATA boy here, and our other SATA boy, and our other SATA boy, and this SATA boy that can't reach anything. So I guess it's going to go all the way up here. We also, of course, have dual Blu-ray drives because I live life to the fullest. To the extreme, to the maximum. Put in the work, put in the hours. Put in the cooler, put in the towers. Okay. I don't know what I'm saying. Trade you Hot Wheels PC for that workstation. No monitor, just... No! I can't accept that bargain. Monster indeed. Dual Blu-ray, of course. Always got to have my dual Blu-ray config. Okay. So we're good on the main components. We do have to run the 2 VGA to the motherboard, which we'll use with this singular breakout cable. The rest should be covered because we have the dual VGA at the bottom to provide additional PCIe power, which we will need for all of the ridiculous stuff we're putting in here. All right. So... how do I want to do this? Let's do this. Ooh. But these are 6 pins. And, oh, duh. Never mind. I have eyes that can see. Okay, we gotta flip it for a sec. Ugh. No, the grommet's coming out. Wallace and Grommet, no! Alright, well that grommet's just gonna hang there loose. Whatever. Alright, we gotta plug this into the power supply. That's VGA numbers. This one, whatever this one is, I can't really see it. Ugh. Okay. Oh, there's still some wetness on the power supply. Let's get rid of that. It's not near the electrical components, but just don't want it building up. All right. All right. Okay, we should fix this USB connector first before I get too wild. When ripping Blu-rays, do you just go for the highest quality possible? Yep! Now just do make MKV to the uncompressed MKV. Life's too short to compress your Blu-ray rips. Put that on a t-shirt. Attribute it to Epoch Vox. Bam! Nope, Intel is better. Yeah, sure. Show me the Intel HEDT that isn't built on a platform from 2016 and has 128 PCIe lanes. Go for it. I love the 12900K for desktop class, but And hell, even the new Ryzen is going to have like extra PCIe lanes compared to Intel. So good luck, bud. I love Intel, work with them a lot, but when you have specific needs, just randomly being like, no, so-and-so's better is not helping anyone. Yeah. Gotta somehow force this connector at an angle it doesn't want to go. Yeah, that's the downside of the right angle power connectors, is they are an utter nightmare to plug in. There we go. I hope the GPU can fit over this because we have this extra cable bulk. I hope it will even work. Okay. So that's the core stuff taken care of. I feel like the next step is the expansion cards. I'm gonna pop that Molex connector through because we're not gonna use it. I still don't know where our USB-C plug went. Oh, it's hanging out in a hard drive tray. Okay. Huzzah! All right. Yeah. I think we go expansion cards next before we start loading it up with fans. I think that's the play. My younger father loves your channel. That's a weird way to put it, but thank you. And thank you, Mr. Kronos. I read that totally wrong. Mr. Kronos. Okay. Yeah, I think we're doing GPUs next. So again, we're putting in both the Titan RTX and the 3090. So this will be because I am frequently limited by the 24 gigs of VRAM on the Titan RTX, as ridiculous as that sounds. So having a second GPU, we're not using NVLink or anything. Obviously, they're completely different cards. But just dual GPU in general gives you access to a little bit more VRAM for certain tasks. It will also allow me to do things like offload a certain rendering or encoding process onto one GPU while still using the other. It will allow me to get more horsepower for Resolve projects as well as Unreal Engine. It will also get me additional video outputs because even on these expensive ass cards, you're stupidly driver limited to 4 video outputs on NVIDIA drivers and AMD these days. And I'm using like Touch Designer and Resolume and stuff to send a bunch of outputs to my CRT mixer and all of that stuff. So I need a whole bunch of extra video outputs. So Titan RTX going here and 3090 here, maybe? Actually, that's going to be bigger than 3 slots, isn't it? It's going to be right up against the glass, though. Maybe we do... No, the 3090 is going to stick out too far to do that, so we got to do... Yeah, I think that's what we got to do. But before we can do this, I have to freaking reassemble my my Titan RTX. So we got to do that real quick. That's going to be a nightmare. Let's pull this off. That's the part I was not looking forward to. Set that down for a sec. We've got the Titan RTX and we've got the old cooler. I need to get some alcohol to wipe off the thermal paste and a couple more paper towels. I don't know why I didn't wipe off the thermal paste off the block a couple years ago, so that's going to be dried up now. Not too bad. Not bad at all, actually. All right, sick. Cool. That was really easy. All right, so we have to take off the water block and then figure out how to reassemble it in the original cooler. I got 2 cards for 2 monitors each. No, I got 2 cards for 3 monitors plus like 6 video. Well, not 6. It'll be 5 video outputs running to analog video hardware. Oh yeah, with the power coming out of the 3090, it definitely wouldn't fit being the one that's normal horizontal mounted, so it's gonna have to be vertical mounted. How much RAM could VRAM RAM if VRAM could RAM? Actually, with the AMD GPUs, you can, well actually with all GPUs, they kind of swap back and forth between VRAM and RAM. But with AMD workstation GPUs, you could actually assign system memory as expanded VRAM. And so back before the NVIDIA Studio drivers released, I had a bunch of issues where the what are they called? The Red Giant plugins were crashing Premiere and Resolve constantly because it kept running out of VRAM, and there was no way to like tell it to just slow down or to like limit it. And it turned out that the only solution I found was a 128 gig of RAM system and assigning like 78 gigs of VRAM to the graphics card, which obviously wasn't reasonable, but that was the only way I could work around it. And then like 3 months later, after sending a bunch of reports, NVIDIA released the Studio drivers and fixed all of that. But it was still hilarious. Yeah, I have no idea if this plan for the dual GPU is going to work because of the power connectors. If not, we're just going to go 3090. But I'm going to try. Wait, 5 CRT outputs? Do you not know about my CRT wall? All of that, I have like 20 CRTs hooked up. And I have it all run to 64 in, 64 out video matrix. And I need more inputs from my PC to run Touch Designer and crazy generative graphics. All right, we need another bucket for this. So I have about 15 CRTs hooked up to a Extron 64 in, 64 out video matrix, all running composite. And then I use OBS and Touch Designer and Resolume and stuff to send individual outputs to each one, as well as to my video mixers and glitch art gear. And I need more inputs. Yeah, it's a big 4U rack mount unit. It's one of the MAV Plus series. Maybe it's time to have a dedicated machine for the CRTs. See, I currently do, but it's also limited on video outputs in the exact same way. And because it's not my main machine, trying to like build graphics for it and then move it over and stuff is not super doable. Yeah, it's an Extron. It's a 4U. But yeah, it's composite, not RGB or anything. I mean, it could be RGB because it's all just BNC, but because you can assign it to video or audio and blah, 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 but I just run composite because it's for glitch art, so you don't need like crisp, clear stuff. 64 by 64 VGA. Yeah, that would be nuts. These are TVs. Okay. That is all the screws off the block. Yuck. Grody. I don't think I meant to take the part off. I just want it off the card. Whatever. I guess that's fine. I will have to clean it anyway, right? So I spent a bunch of time removing screws I didn't need to remove. Ugh, that stuff is gross. Alright, then why didn't the back plate come off? There we go. Thermal pads, that's why. Sick. Okay. So then we have a few more screws on the back here holding the block to the card. Are you not using a motorized screwdriver? Because I don't have one and these are Allen key bits anyway. Which gets a little more awkward for that. But namely because I mean I have like a driver, but not, you know, a little baby one that's safe for computer components. Is that all of them? Jesus. Okay. Set all the water cooling stuff aside. I don't care about it anymore right now. All right, sick. So everything should mostly be in place on this cooler. I'm really hoping. Yeah, it looks like pretty much everything's already here. The only thing is some additional thermal pads were left over from the other block. I will take those off. There are still ones on the cooler. And otherwise, we Gucci. Are you currently satisfied with the configuration of your studio? What's the next Holy Grail thing you're looking for? No, well, I am overall. The current problem I'm having is, oh, I need thermal paste. Duh. Where did I put it? I got some, I thought. Too much to keep up with. I know I had some. All right, let me go grab it while I... So the big issue I'm having right now is there's something wrong with the SSD recorder coming out of my Ursa. It keeps like corrupting my SSDs, and so I've had so many videos, especially like time-sensitive ones where, you know, it's important to get the video done, where the entire A-roll take, or a whole bunch of B-roll, or like an entire... I did a whole unboxing of my Samsung G7 that I covered in the CRT video. And it just completely ate it, and there was no getting that back whatsoever. And so the short answer is to just replace the SSD recorder. Long term, I want to switch to something like how the Canon R5C, what the hell? Or the new Nikon Z9 that are like both photo and video cameras, because I already sold off my main digital photo camera. Pretty much all the photos I take at the moment are film, because I sold off my digital one, but I would still like to shoot digital photos. And so I want one like that that's both photo and video and is still full frame and has autofocus, because my Ursa doesn't have autofocus. So it's just me manually focusing for everything. So if I want to use my teleprompter with, you know, much further length lenses, it is way more awkward to do so, to self-focus from far away and things like that. So that is my next Holy Grail, is trying to get an R5C or a Z9 for that. Workflow-wise, everything's mostly fine as is. I also want to get into QD OLED. The VGA 64x64 is 36 rack units. Holy balls. Thank you, Carlos. But yeah, in terms of like other workflow things, like I want to get a QD OLED display, but that's mostly for gaming, not really for work. So, wait. Okay. I was like, where the hell are the screws for all this? I don't remember how this was set up, honestly. Doesn't really fit through these holes. EPOS also needs a FW900 for workflow reasons. I don't remember how these little curve brackets went. They look way too big for this. Maybe they were from the AIO I had on it before. I had a NZXT AIO on it. Yeah, I can't imagine these win on this. That's just way too high. I'm gonna go without it. I hope it's not the wrong move. Question mark? It's kind of nervous. What's up, Tommy? Greetings from Chile. Wow. Well, hello, hello. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, time to look up a Titan RTX teardown just to verify. If I don't feel confident in it after I've reassembled it here, I will, but like I just took apart a 1080 Ti, so I'm mostly familiar with how the general workflow of this went. Obviously, they're very different GPUs, but like the general flow is similar. Why will that not catch? What in the world? Why did that one catch and not the others? I know this is hard to... Oh, and I'm blocking it with the tub. I know this is hard to see. I'm sorry. It is very difficult to get. Obviously, we typically use the workbench angle for this, but I needed more room than the workbench allows for. All right, we're gonna... There is no way that this fit on here. Like, it doesn't match up to any of the holes. So... I think we just need more pressure. Or maybe to loosen up this one? Or maybe it really did go in the middle ones. It doesn't seem like it catches there either. Okay. Oh, I know why this one wasn't catching. I was in the wrong hole. Something, something, what someone said. Oh, there's a screw caught in the spring of this screw. What is that tiny screw for? It's so tiny. There we go. That is a little baby screw. There we go. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Screws are close together. See you later, Shank. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hope you have a wonderful day. Oh, these have little tiny hex heads too. I don't think I have one small enough up here. I'll have to go get another one. Nope. All right. One sec. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up in my other tab a teardown. Titan RTX teardown, just because there's like a bunch of different kinds of screws that I'm not 100% certain where they go. Gamers Nexus, always coming in clutch. Here we go. All right, So with this on, it was those 4 big ones confirmed. Did they take out others yet? Did I skip too far? Okay, yes. Little tiny baby screws after that. Okay. So if we set that back on here, got a bunch of little screw spots. But there's so many different kinds of tiny screws that I'm not sure which. Probably not that. I'm just gonna put these in a little bucket too. What's up, Rogue Wave? Appreciate you stopping by as well. Isn't the C2 a TV? Yeah, but they have a 42-inch and like it can be used as a monitor. I'm waiting on QD OLED because normal OLED still isn't perfect. All right, is it these tiny, tiny screws that are like microscopic? Oh, we do need to put in those 4 first. Okay. Ah! Okay, I need another screwdriver real quick. I need my Gamer's Nexus or my iFixit tools. Start with the GN stuff. I don't know if it will work. Huzzah! Shouts out to Gamer's Nexus. Yeah, kind of. Got started by hand. Oh, I gotta put all of these in as basically like socket holes for the tiny ones. That's obnoxious. Why is that the design? Get in your hole. Why? Okay, well. In case you missed it, in case you're new to the stream, coming in late, we are building my new workstation, which has a Threadripper Pro CPU, 256 gigs of RAM, and assuming we ever get this done, it's going to be dual GPU. Maybe I'd finish this off stream if it looks like it's going to take too long, but we're almost done, I think. We are bringing back the live streams slowly but surely. I know it's been a few months, but Streamer News will return, as well as more casual focused streams, and we will be multi-streaming on Twitch and the YouTube machine at the same time moving forward. Assuming all goes well. I want you to be able to watch wherever you prefer. Got everything except the mic. It's a Deity wireless lav. So it's clipped to my collar. Can't be using on-camera desktop mics for this kind of stream. It's their fancy wireless interview connect kit. It's a really rock solid kit. It was like my #1 recommended if you need a wireless lav setup for shooting. You can get the lav itself separate, and then you can buy separate instances if you just only need like one mic, for example. You can buy them individually and independently, but the full kit is a really compelling offer. And one of their transmitters also can act as a recorder as well, which is really cool. Either just to act as a recorder, so you can just wear it as a lav and record there, or to have as a redundant backup, so you can record while you broadcast to a separate output, so you have it as a backup, which is pretty neat. I'm late. How absurd is this absurd build? We're looking at dual GPUs, Titan RTX and RTX 3090, Threadripper 3975WX, so that's 32 cores, 64 threads. We're looking at 256 gigs of ECC memory and over 20 terabytes of NVMe storage. And some insanely crazy and expensive capture cards as well. All right, this one has been a problem this whole time. I don't want to hit the little ICs next to it using the pliers or something, but like, what in the world? You have to buy a wireless lav kit. Yeah, I mean, there are like super expensive ones out there that are going to be better in some way, but for anything that I would personally be buying, the Deity kit is what I would get. Especially with their new timecode stuff coming. They got that wireless slate and the wireless timecode kit. I hope I can get that soon. It's going to be super useful, especially when working with an editor when it comes to syncing up and stuff, because Resolve's built-in like audio sync for me is always a frame or two off, and it just irks me. Whereas timecode should be fairly consistent. Even with TR, are you going to have enough lanes for all of that? I absolutely am. 128 PCIe lanes. Got plenty. All right. That should be mostly solidly on there. This part's kind of wiggly, but I think it's because I'm missing those side screws. So now we put on the little baby, tiny baby screws going in. Oh, we got to take off the... We got to take off these, I think. That's too small. Where did my other... Here we are. Hello? Is that too big? I think I gotta take those off to screw... Am I missing something? Yeah, those have to... Why? There we go. I don't know how that is supposed to possibly get back on there, though. Like, I do not think those nuts will reach. Oh. I lied. Oh, almost. Nah, virtual machines are a whole lot of extra overhead and stuff. That would be a problem. We're going to save these for a minute. Of course I'm going to be using this build to more than half of what it's capable of. I'm already bottlenecked by my previous build. That's the whole reason we're building it. I mean, I'm not, I guess, bottlenecked implies like a little bit more strong. I hate using that word because like, but like I was using my existing Threadripper and 128 gigs of RAM and Titan RTX to its limits and feeling limited by the RAM and VRAM capacity, as well as the PCIe lanes were a big problem. And so I'm upgrading. All right, even the tiny GN screwdriver is too big for these tiny, stupid screws that someone keeps warning me will snap. Yeah, I need my iFixit to the rescue. Fix it with iFixit! iFixit! Fix it with iFixit! iFixit! Okay. I'm probably not going to put all of these in, but I'll put most of them in. They're mostly decorative to just keep the backplate on there. So I will at least put on what's required for that. Yeah, they're going quick. I'll probably do them all. I love it when my expensive graphics cards go crunch. It's exactly the sound I want it to make. Crunch. I feel like they did this just to make it extra tedious, just for no reason. All right, 2 more of these. Jeebus. I mean, I'm all about only doing a couple screws at a time, but the only reason I'm not here is that these are, these aren't generic screws, these are specific to this thing, versus like your standard motherboard or back panel screws or whatever, so I'm gonna lose them if I don't put them in. Okay, those are in. I have no idea how I'm supposed to get these nuts back on. Like, there's so little grab here. The part of that's because it's not squeezed on enough. We are lifted off back here. It's because of the springs. I gotta... Now we're leaving it. I would have to take all of these back out. Fuck that. Pardon my French. Nope, that's not the right one. Zip ties is always a legitimate option. Okay, see, my concern here is we have extra screws. I don't know if they came from... Because again, I had an AIO mounted on this thing. I guess they came from the AIO mount, because we definitely have some extra screws. but it's fine. All right. It's back together. Jesus, that took too long. Okay. Let's get back to the main build at hand here. And we can finish this thing. Let's do it! Back to the plan. Okay, so first GPU is hopefully Titan RTX in the bottom slot. Grab the wrong screwdriver. I don't know if that's going to be enough room with the power connectors. That's going to suck if not. That is very close. I'm going to be so disappointed. All right, let's put one screw in. How much power are you feeding that? It's got a 1600 watt power supply. So hopefully enough. It sucks that I'm doing it this way too in terms of GPU order, because if this doesn't fit, then I got to take it back out and swap it to the 3090, because that's going to be the one I move with. At least till the 4090 comes out. No, I have the 1600 watt in it. The 1200 watts the backup. It's also less about the raw watt pullage and more about having enough separate, 12 volt rails and everything for the multiple GPUs and the extra power to the board and stuff like that. So keep that in mind as well. All right, maybe if we take it from the top and bend them very strongly before we even plug them in. Okay, we got a spammer, nice. Get the boot, Cujo. Thank you. It's amazing to me that YouTube hasn't, found a better way to automate getting rid of those. With all the machine learning you can run on a GTX 1080, they don't have something just running 24/7 to be like, hey, maybe that person spamming an adult site 24/7 isn't a good idea, or maybe someone's username being best adult site is not something we should have. The 3090, it can't go the other way. The 3090 is way too, 3090 is way too wide this way for me to do it that way. So it's literally only this configuration, or we don't do dual GPU at all. Because it stands up significantly higher off the bracket compared to the Titan. But when done this way, I don't know how to fit it in here. I feel like these slots were not thought out very well. I feel like most vertical GPU slots were not thought out very well, but Okay, we in there. I haven't added my riser, but it fits. Does it though? Does it really? Hold on. I don't know that it does. It's angled because of the power. It fits. It's gonna get toasty, but it's got so much room on the sides and we're gonna have so much airflow. Yeah. I think it'll be fine. I'm feeling confident. Now we have to hope I can bend my riser the right way, because I didn't buy a vertical riser for some reason. I didn't know that that would be like a requirement. Like, why would you want one that couldn't go vertically? So, alright, let's get that out of there. Slot 2 here will be GPU number 2. I don't know that that's flat enough. Son of a... I think I'm going to have to wait. I'm going to have to order... I think I'm going to have to order a right angle thing. Because this is too tall. This is way too tall. Yep. Alright. We're going to leave the 3090 out. I'm going to get the power cables ran for it. It takes 3 8-pins. You can't see that. It takes 3 8-pins. So I'm going to get the power cables run. But we're going to leave that out for now, and I'm going to order a right angle riser. I'm an idiot. That was mostly the right length. It could be a little shorter, but it's not right angle. Okay. I'm actually going to do that real quick before I forget. It'll get here probably Thursday. I already tested the 3090 runs fine on the riser in general. Is this the one I bought? I need to find... The one I bought had a right angle option I did not see until after I ordered it. There it is. Thermal take. Get out the Dremel to make room. I mean, I could... Well, no, I can't. If the power supply shroud wasn't like this big crucial structural component, I would just remove it. Thank you, Sandy. $22 cm? How long is that? How long is the one I have? I don't know if that's long enough. Okay, I will order this after the stream. Hey Siri. Set a reminder for 4:30 p.m. Order cable. Alright. I will figure it out. So we're not doing dual GPU today, but we will set it up to where we will be able to, no problem. So next we have our expansion cards. In slot number 1, we will have our 8 terabyte 4 NVMe RAID 0 array. So 4 by 2 terabyte drives. That will go in slot 1 using the ASUS card. We checked that out when I rebuilt in 2020. The motherboard came with the card too, but as far as I can tell, it's the same thing. So I'm just gonna, I don't want to risk messing my RAID up because I still have data on it. So we shall just do this. All right, that's slot number 1. Then we have our dual Magewell in slot number 2. Oh, I'm an idiot. We can still just do the 3890 in here for now. That's fine. And then I'll just move it when we get the riser. That way we still get both now. Say it with me, kids. RAID is not a backup. Yes. RAID 0 would never be interpreted as a backup in the first place. It's not even redundant. The correct phrasing should be redundancy and parity is not a backup. But all right. And for now, we'll throw in the 3090, I guess our USB. This is a Sonnet USB card. It has its own separate chipsets for the 2 ports. They have fancy ones now with like 18 ports and a bajillion chipsets, but they're like a couple $100. This was like $150 or something when I originally got it. All right, 3090, come back. Look at this PCIe sandwich. I specifically want to move it to the vertical mount when we can so I can have the other slots, because I do have other uses for the slots. This is ridiculous. I'm so glad that they use the standard PCIe power instead of the crazy new one, though. I need a fatter screwdriver. Hold on. Surely I have something over here. My good one is in the house. I think this one will work. I'll keep leaving it in the house. In the house. So, for those who know about this graphics card and are used to it, they're familiar with it, this one's already been RMA'd, so it should last a while. It's already lasted a while since then. But this was one from the EVGA batch that likes to off itself, and it has already done so. So I should be good. I wish there was a better solution for the PCIe screws. They're so hard to get to with these giant graphics cards. You can kind of see how much taller the 3090 is than the Titan. All right, so we need power for that. We need fans, intake here, exhaust here. We'll just do 2 exhausts, I guess. Kind of need another screw in my Blu-ray drive, but I used the wrong ones for it, so I don't know. Oh, I probably have some in my little cup here. Well, not really. That one will work. Cool. All right, so fans. Fans is mostly it. And power for the GPU. Okay. I'm so stoked. RAID is crap on Windows. Windows software RAID is fine these days on modern systems. I am continually blown away by it. All right, well, that SATA is gonna awkwardly just chill here. It's kind of caught between some stuff. Whoops. I was really hoping I would get it to a state where I do not have to power it off again. Or, you know, unplug everything from it again. But since we're going to have to do the graphics card riser, my dream is crushed. All right. Mount some fans. And we're almost done. I know everyone's freaking out about the 3090 being able to breathe, but I think you all underestimate how ridiculously overcompensated some of these coolers are, and there will be a ton of airflow blasting right into it that I think it will, like, through the side, that I really think it'll probably be fine. And if not, I will order, I mean, first I need to determine if it's even, like, if it'll even work. Like, I'm going to do some scale testing to see how well things scale to it. And if it's not worth it, then I'm just removing the Titan altogether. If it's worth it, then maybe I order the solid side panel from Fractal and just drill some holes in it for ventilation, because I've done that before. I guess we'll stick with these blue corners. I mean, software RAID sucks from a protection standpoint, but from a performance standpoint, it's been fine. But if you're using software RAID, you're probably not in a position to be having separate RAID HBAs and stuff with battery backups anyway, so it's kind of just different use cases for different purposes. More so than one sucking and the other not. The other blowing. Okay. Anyway. I do have some other PCIe expanders. Before we finish and totally close it up, I may have another one that I can use sitting somewhere, but I don't know what I did with it off the top of my head. Like, I think I know where it is, but I don't want to interrupt right now to go do it. I'd rather do it at the end, where I can just be like, nope, didn't find it, goodbye. We also might, after I do the GPU swap, I might add in, I have 16 terabytes of SATA M.2 drives that I was going to put in a storage server with some hard drives, but then the hard drives fell through, so they may go in here. So I still have access to the storage. I've got an HBA for it, and I was just going to use storage spaces, so that might happen too. But we'll see. God, there's so much packaging going through so many fans. That's really obnoxious. Oh no, boohoo, first world problems. All these fans. I can't hold all these Noctua fans feels. It's just so much junk. I wish I could have just ordered them with one color. Other than, obviously, the brown. I just kind of wanted black. I think they were like roughly the same price when I was ordering for some reason. I don't remember. Alright. We're almost done, though. Windows RAID also doesn't care if you accidentally drop out a drive. If you just add it back, it's like, oh, hey, here's your storage. And if it's gone, then it's like, hey, you don't have storage right now, you're missing a drive. Which was really nice when I was dealing with all my crazy PCIe dropouts and stuff. So yeah, to anyone asking if I'm going to use this to its full advantage, here's all the PCIe lanes. I mean, obviously I'm blocking a few slots, and I'm going to unblock them once I get the vertical mount. And then I'm going to use those slots. So, yeah. This is why I like my PCIe lanes. This is where a little electric screwdriver would be lovely for these stupid fan screws. They're so tedious. But it's fine. More tedious part of PC building. I'm just glad we don't deal with Molex connectors anymore. The pins would always come out of alignment. It was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Yeah, can you... Is it different accounts each time? Oh, a new account. Okay. I'm glad I ordered enough fans. I wasn't sure that I had. And we should theoretically still have one left over for the... to do push-pull on the cooler if we want. I feel like when so many like kids video games can have auto detect flags for usernames to be like, maybe Naked Campsite HD is not a username we want on our website, then YouTube could too. Like if Roblox can implement it and like Club Penguin back in the day or whatever could have done it, then I'm pretty sure YouTube is capable. And then the question always comes up of why don't they? Because it seems like they genuinely struggle with this, and it seems like the answer is always right in front of them, and yet confusingly the obvious solutions are never done. I don't know if it's trying to overdo it. I don't know if it's tech debt. Because obviously YouTube is an old system at this point. It always amazes me how hard it is for them to implement new comment features when theoretically the comments should just be like stored in text on a database. Like it should be super easy to manipulate, and for whatever reason, getting new features related to it is very difficult. If anything, the age should mean the comments are handled even more simply than a newer system that tries to be overzealous about it. But maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't run a multi-million-dollar company and website, so who the hell knows? All right, let's do power before we do the rest of the fans. Yeah, everything's gonna run bare metal. Ugh. I mean, I do mess around with VMs like lightly, and I have a whole separate Unraid box for Docker and stuff. But I'd be sacrificing a lot of overhead and a lot of other issues to do that here for literally no gain, as far as I'm concerned. But that's my real name. I mean, Google definitely cares about that kind of spam on their platform because it makes, like, it has a negative impact on, like, their PR. YouTube's made a lot of progress in shutting down, like, scammy, spammy videos in that regard. If you were around in 2016, which was like the middle age of YouTube as far as I'm concerned, it was awful in that regard. They had to put in a lot of work to clean up the site. It was especially difficult working for an MCN where so many people just like freely brought those channels into the MCN and didn't understand why that was bad. And we had to work to like educate people on why they need to not be idiots and then remove those channels. All right, I think we're actually going to have enough power supply connectors. I'm impressed. That is 2 running to the motherboard, 3 running to the motherboard for VGA power connectors, 2 to the Titan, 3 to the RTX 3090, and then we still have 1 left over that I can run to the deck link if I want or need to. I don't know for certain if I'm using it, but the option is available, which is impressive. And that is why we have a 1600 watt power supply. Not because we necessarily need to draw 1600 watts right now, but because that's pretty much the only way you get all of that. Okay, now we can't unplug things more, so that's going to be awkward. Another reason I hate power supply shrouds is because they block access to like reaching around and plugging stuff into the power supply, which is something I struggle with in every build. I just don't understand. They seem so counterproductive. They don't really help with airflow. They just get in the way and make everything more difficult. I don't see the appeal. I guess that's my only, like, giant complaint about this case, is that it relies on that shroud so much. There we go. Alright. Power supply is connected. We can shove this back in here for good. Oh, well. Now it doesn't want to. Cool. It said too many cables, too many cables. Okay. Oh, my back. Okay. So we've got power run. We've got some of our fans run. I still need a U.2 cable. Hold on. We still got to sort that out. I'm hoping they included one. SATA. Shit. Okay. I'm going to have to find a U.2 cable for my drive because I do need that drive. We are so close, guys. I am so stoked. I estimated this stream would take about 4 hours. We are at 3. I think we're going to be done by time for 4. And that's including like 10 minutes of messing with the audio not working and stuff like that. So I am impressed. Appreciate you all hanging out with me today. I hope you've had a wonderful Tuesday. I hope you are enjoying the stream. Like I said, streams are coming back very soon. I've got this whole crazy setup to work with, and it will be much smoother when I have access to my actual computer for it, rather than, you know, hodgepodging it together while I'm doing maintenance on my main computer. But and also this mic system works out great for audio, and it'll work out better when it's running into my dedicated interface setup and not a camera that turned itself off for some reason. U2, the forgotten connector, for real. What's up, Cry5? We are using Noctua Chromax A14. How come picking air cooling instead of AIO? Well, AIOs on Threadripper are just kind of silly in the first place. So that wouldn't give me any advantage. There's, according to all the testing I've read online and stuff, like, I had originally bought a 360mm AIO for this build. It was the EVGA, whatever. But everything I've read and seen, this Noctua cooler cools just as much, if not better, than the 360mm AIO, and it runs quieter. And so, there's no real point to going AIO. I wanted little hassle, and I want this to be able to run for the next 6 years or so with as minimal maintenance as possible. And I've had very bad luck with the freaking Threadripper AIOs after the Intermax fiasco. That Intermax cooler was so good. Like, when it worked, it was so good for Threadripper. But some short-sightedness when it comes to the freaking liquid inside it. And even Wendell, after he drained them and cleaned them and put in his own liquid with biocide and stuff, he put up a whole video on that on the Level 1 Tech's channel. He still ended up having to retire most of them eventually because they still got gunky again. SATA Express was a massive rip. Yeah. I have quite a few motherboards throughout the studio. I know this angle isn't great. I don't really know how to make it better. Maybe that. Like, I have quite a few motherboards throughout the studio that have those little external SATA Express connectors, and I've never once had a device that actually used it. Still waiting for the USB 4 adoption. I have multiple motherboards with USB 4, and USB 4 is effectively just Thunderbolt 3, so like, as you see Thunderbolt become more prevalent on desktop motherboards, it's gonna be USB 4 now. My problem, you want to talk about adoption, screw all that, that's fine. That's not a big deal. That takes its time and it's fine. My problem is we have had USB 3.2 generation, whatever. We've had 10 and now 20 gigabit per second USB-C ports for years. And it's on motherboards. Like, so many motherboards make it a priority to include 10 and 20 gigabit per second ports for USB. There's not a device on the market that uses it. Especially in the capture card market, like, you could get actual 4K streaming with a USB card if they use 10 or 20 gigabit per second ports. But all the capture card companies want to stick to PCIe 2 and USB 5 gigabit per second, which is just stupidly limiting. Yeah, my only complaint about this WRX80 setup is no onboard Thunderbolt. And as I mentioned before, with Wendell's help, I kind of got an expansion card jerry-rigged and tricked into working, but my interface still would not communicate properly with it. We got a external storage device working, but not my interface. I'm going to go back to Level 1 headquarters and do some more experiments in the future, but I don't think I'm going to get it to work. So I'm going to have a dedicated PC just for handling my audio. It was going to be the Mac Mini, but that's giving me issues, and none of the like remote stuff I want to use works on Mac Mini really, so I'm just probably going to go Windows, unfortunately. Because the Mac Mini is like the perfect little silent PC for it. We'll see. I'm still finalizing that. That'll be the next step after this build is done, so. And then my stream setup will finally be done. TM. Have you ever considered a server rack? I have a server rack in my studio. I have a 27U, I believe. 25U? Yeah, 25U. Has all my storage servers and my Unraid box and my 3D printers sitting on top of it. Yeah, especially with Thunderbolt 4, they all started moving to new connectors, and it's all really dumb. Especially because, just to be clear here, which direction do I need to go with this? This way? Nope, this way. There we go. Just to be clear, the Thunderbolt header on a motherboard is basically DRM. All it controls is power state for hot plugging, and then it's DRM. It is not required to actually run Thunderbolt connectivity at all. That is how dumb those freaking ports are. It is unacceptable in my opinion. And as USB 4 becomes a thing, we better see the ability to not use them. Like, there's no excuse to not have a USB 4 card that can just do it straight on the board without a header. I don't think there's any excuse. All right, we do have one fan left to do push-pull on our cooler if we want to. It has 2 exhaust fans right here. I don't think it needs it, but I think we can do it. I need to find my Noctua brackets. They're over here. Here they are. I don't have a splitter here. Let me run my fan plugs into my controller here. Oh, we're gonna need extensions as well. These don't reach at all. Okay. So I need 3 extensions. And then we got room to run that fan off the CPU header, so that's fine. Okay, let's open up our last fan here. Licensing shouldn't be an issue anymore with the USB 4 stuff. Like, it should be way more open. It's just, it's a lot more complicated to route since you're routing, you know, PCIe to it and things like that. It's a lot more complicated, and motherboards can't decide on what features are important and blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't believe there are still motherboards today that go without Wi-Fi on board. Like, that is just bonkers to me. It's not like it costs much. I got burned by that getting a motherboard from my mom for the Mother's Day build. Thanks for stopping by, Explorographer. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. With the Mother's Day build, I bought a board that was, you know, I was just going for the cheapest that had the feature set that I want, but I didn't even consider looking at Wi-Fi because I figured these days, you know, it didn't even cross my mind. And then I got a board without Wi-Fi. But getting a Wi-Fi card costs basically the same amount as the price difference to the Wi-Fi capable motherboard. So I just went with a Wi-Fi card, but really dumb. All right. I should still run this off a splitter so they're running off the same header. I think that's the play. Okay. That is a lot of cooling on this computer. I should be able to run it super chill. So I need 3 extensions and 1 splitter. And then we're done pretty much. Like, holy crap. I'm gonna go ahead and put the top panel back on. Since it is exhaust, it does not need a filter. All right, let me find my PCIe box. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, I found risers. I don't know if they'll work. I knew I had some. I don't know what gen these are. That may pivot our build a tiny bit, but I found risers. This is 16X. It doesn't say what generation it is. Let me look it up because I bought them on Amazon, so they're not going to be the greatest, but it would work. Oh, I bet I have a separate fan box for that. Okay, hold on. Orders. Riser. These are going to be 3.0, aren't they? Because this was last year. Yeah, 3.0. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I gotta order a separate one. I don't think it's smart to use those. Alright. Fan stuff is oh, well, hold on. We got some stuff. Extender. Extender. Sorry, I know this angle's awkward, but it's only gonna be for a second. Oh, this one's only a 3-pin extender. I need a 4-pin! Here, we have one extender. Two extenders. Just need one more. I believe in us. I believe in the power of my hoarding. Got a massive pack of SATA cables for some reason. Found my splitter. Nice. Just need one more extender. Is this an extender? Extender! Hey, Coalition. Hope you have a great lunch, buddy. Appreciate you watching. Ugh. Okay. Got all of those hooked up. Now the splitter for the ones on the CPU cooler. There we go. All right, all the fans are hooked up. We got 3 intake on the front, 2 exhausts on the top, 1 exhaust on the back, push-pull on the CPU cooler. GPUs are hooked up. I don't think, you guys can mention it in chat, I don't think it's a good idea to use the 3.0 risers for the 3090. Just doesn't seem to like the right play. We are using the Fractal Define 7XL case. I will have so much to clean up after this is done. Okay. I don't think we really have to, I have to plug in SATA power to my Blu-ray drives, but otherwise, like, I think we're good. Oh, I still need my U.2 cable. I'm glad I just remembered that, because I had almost completely forgot. So, let's get my Blu-ray drives powered up, and then I'll go look for that. Blu-ray power. Blu-ray power. Okay. We have almost everything done. I will put that front wall in, even though it's mostly pointless. Maybe I won't. No to 3.0 risers? Yeah. That's what I figured. Alright, let me see if the U.2 are in this box here. I can't believe it didn't come with one. I'm gonna be bummed if I can't get this plugged in right now, because I don't really know where that cable would have been, but I know I had one or two. Oh, is this it? This is it! Hey, okay. So for those of you who don't know, you can't really see that. This is a U.2 cable, so it plugs into the motherboard with this little square connector, which is the actual U.2 connector. And then connects to the back of the drive and takes SATA power. So I need this for my 4 terabyte Intel drive I got off eBay. You can get lots of server refurbished drives that generally stay in great shape. Like this one is 3 or 4 years old to me now, and it's still running perfectly. So I'll get this mounted in a drive sled, if I have the appropriate screws. We are so close. I am so excited. I literally just need like one screw in this. It's not like it has any moving parts. Nope. Damn it. I just need one screw, please. RNG gods, look fondly upon me. Are you not entertained? Is this not what you came for? Okay, I guess we're not doing that. Oh? Oh! We got one! Okay, then we're putting two in. That way it doesn't twist. There we go. Good enough. Sick. All right, get our lovely Intel NVMe in there. Get it connected to the U.2 port on the motherboard, which I'm so glad it has, because those M.2 to U.2 adapters can be kind of finicky. So generally speaking, I love to go native when possible. That sounds really inappropriate, but hey. Oh wow, we just unplugged that from the, okay, whatever. Plug that into SATA power. Rocket power. Back into the back of the drive. My only complaint is the big U.2 power plus data cable in general does not stay fairly snug in the drives, which feels like a massive oversight, or maybe I'm just getting cheap cables. But that part sucks. All right. Cable management is gonna be trash, but honestly, it doesn't matter here. So we can just shove all this in there. Should be fine. All right, I think we're good, guys. Let's do WinXP or Win7. WinXP. All right, let's see about this front panel. Someone recommended putting it in here instead. I don't know how that works with some of this, but like, I don't know how you're supposed to fit it to do that. Yeah, I don't think that works. I know you're supposed to be able to, but with the power supply shroud, I don't know how you fit it in there. 'Cause I can't, oh, there we go, never mind. It's like, I could do it this way. Completely blacked out. You can't see anything because it's so dark. I guess that's fine. Kind of gives us a little bit of more directional airflow. Although I don't, there we go. I don't know if that's the right screw. I don't think it is. Well, take screws that don't want to cooperate for 200. Stop, stop, stop. There we go. It's way more annoying to put in than it was to get out. Oh, no. There we go. We just need a couple of these. There we go. Is there a mount up top? There is. Okay. Top back off for a sec. Look at that. All right. We have woo! How do you feel about Linus abandoning their URSAs? Doesn't surprise me. The 12Ks are completely different beasts from the 4.6K that I have. They are a completely different camera, completely different workflow, and they had all sorts of issues adapting to it. Not only that, but they have to use Resolve, and they are a Premiere house. And so, I don't want to leak too much information that I may or may not supposed to have had, but like from what I've heard, they had a lot of struggles. Whoa. Actually, getting everyone over to Resolve and dealing with all of that. Like, it's not surprising on top of the performance issues of trying to edit 12K. I think they bit off more than they could chew. It's not surprising, but it was kind of a silly buy, in my opinion, when they have things like the C500 Mark II and other cameras that provide features like autofocus and stuff that could save their camera people some trouble, as well as just generally be easier to work with and more stable. The Ursa felt like a silly choice to me. The 12K specifically. I don't think Ursas in general are a silly choice. I just think the 12K, they bought it as soon as it came out. I think it was more of a, hey, we're camera nerds, let's try to push for 8K with 12K sensors kind of move, and it didn't pan out. I mean, their Reds didn't really pan out either. They shoot most of their stuff on like FX7s and Canons and stuff, so. Cinema cameras aren't necessarily best suited to, you know, YouTube production workflows. Those kinds of cinema cameras. Obviously the FX7 and the Canon whatever that they have are cinema cameras still, but it's a very different beast compared to the like super high-end ones. All right, the dustiest part is the front panel intake, which I'm trying to do something about here. Hello? Why won't it open? Oh, because it opens from the other side. So we can take that filter out and air it out separately. Oh my God, Jesus. All right, I'm gonna go blow this out real quick. I'll give you all just like a wider studio cam view here. I'm gonna go air this out outside for a sec. Ow, ow, ow. And that's better. This is the X3 Hurricane. I switched off a canned air. Nice. I'm assuming you all heard that. I hope my mic didn't die. Yeah. There's nothing you can do on your end that changes the bitrate that you get on YouTube, so if that's the bitrate that they're getting, that's what YouTube determines they need. Gamers Nexus gets a higher bitrate because they're doing 60 FPS. Linus Tech Tips doesn't do 60 FPS, they don't need it. YouTube controls the bitrate. Like, unless they're uploading something absurdly low, which they're not. I know they're not. They can't really control what YouTube gives them. So, telling them they're screwing it up isn't really productive or helpful. Megabits per second for VP9 is a decent amount. For YouTube, at least. Alright. No more loud noises. Sorry. Keep forgetting which way this opens. That's a complete PC build, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Here, let's do some B-roll. It's not gonna be on, so you're not gonna have a whole lot of lighting. I'll pull the side panel back off, so it's not reflecting. Obviously this isn't real B-roll, it's just gonna be live stream B-roll. I'm definitely not leaving the front filter panel off. Thank you though. You saw how much dust it had. Alright. This, my friends. Here, I'll even kick the light down. There we go. Here we have the amazing PC build. 256 gigabytes of ECC memory, 32 cores, 64 threads, 48 total gigs of VRAM, not that it entirely works that way, over 20 terabytes of NVMe storage, dual GPUs, insane dual 4K 60 capture card, lots of USB I/O, 1600 watt power supply. Gonna be super quiet. I'm very stoked. So freaking stoked. I do hope you enjoyed today's PC building stream. Thank you so much for everyone who hung out with us. Product links will be updated in the description as soon as this is done streaming. Hope you enjoyed. and have a great rest of your weekend. Go check out our recent videos over on Lost Saves if you're interested in some gaming content. Otherwise, I just posted a video about lots of stuff recently. So go check out previous videos, whatever. Check out our sponsor, Hover, if you're interested in a domain name so you can contact businesses for sponsorships or review samples, what have you. Hover.com/eposbox, save 10% on your first order. And yeah, I'm gonna get this set up, make sure Windows still recognizes all my drives, and see how quiet we can tune this. And then I'll start benchmarking to see how Resolve and Unreal handle the dual GPU while we wait on our riser to show up. Hope you have a great rest of your week. I should have a video on Thursday about a upscaler, but we'll see if I get there. I really need to have it up though. Otherwise, go check out Tutorial Tuesday. Just went live on Nebula today. I have a weekly tutorial series over there, exclusive. CuriosityStream.com/epos to sign up for that. And I'll shut up now. Remember, be kind. Rewind. Join our channel members and Twitch subs if you want early access to videos and all of that. Okay. Bye-bye. Yeah.